features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
James. Welcome to another sunrise safari. Well, I don't know if it will be a sunrise safari here at Amakhala Private Game Reserve, as it is overcast, very cloudy and slightly windy. Hello, my name is Eric, joined by Morgan behind the camera, and this morning we are going to be your eyes and ears in some very, very interesting conditions, but conditions that we can work with. We can definitely try and see what we can find today. It is still a little bit too dark. We are sitting and just admiring what appears to be a sweet thorn that has infused with a needle bush and another bush that I'm not too sure of. It's got a lot of thorns. Doesn't have fruit. Interesting. I'm pretty sure I know the name to this. It's just not coming to me. Anyway, now quite often you'll find 2 or 3 species of plants will actually link together in order to grow in the same environment, and sometimes, they actually protect each other. The big branches and the long thorns of the sweet thorn does help the needle bush grow a little bit. Not that animals really target the needle bush for consumption. It does have thorns, probably more thorns than the sweet thorn does per branch. If you're looking at maybe the last 10, let's say the last 10 centimeters of a needle bush branch, and you look at 10 centimeters of a sweet thorn branch, the needle bush would definitely outnumber the sweet thorn when it comes to the amount of thorns on the bush, as they have almost 2 thorns per centimeter coming out on either side of the branch. And sometimes these thorns crisscross, so it almost looks like it's like a bottle brush of thorns in a sense. It's a lovely morning. There is a little bit of wind, as I'm sure you can hear, which is a little bit unusual for the mornings. Normally the wind only starts at around about 9ish, 10ish, and slowly progresses through the day, but this one has started very, very early. I imagine, it was very windy late last night, so I think the wind may have blown throughout the evening. I'm not entirely sure, but when I did wake up late last night, I could hear the wind was howling outside. Dazimela, good morning. We trust you are doing well on this fine Wednesday morning. We hope that you are tucked up in your couch with a nice cup of coffee and ready for this morning's sunrise safari. Now, this is a very nice bush for animals like duiker, scrub hares, sometimes maybe even bush pigs, to hide underneath during the day.
This is On Safari. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
To be having these incredible experiences in this wild underwater forest.
It was just one of those things which I don't think I'll ever see again in my life.
Thanks for joining us on our Sunrise Safari.
Live. We're live. Hello, everybody. Good morning. What a way to start Wednesday. Unfortunately, our radios are not working, but we don't care because we have Tlalamba the leopardess here, and we've just picked her up on the clearings outside our camp, and I hope that you're all very well. It's been a fun 2 days out filming, and we've had some great stuff, but we haven't seen a leopard. This is our first leopard for a little while. And it is magnificent, Tlalamba the leopardess. My name is James Henry. Cameron is on camera, and we're very excited to have you back on board with us and to have this leopard with you. Tlalamba the leopardess, a very favourite character here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in the Western Fringes of the Great Kruger National Park. And it's quite tricky at the moment to stay with her because she is a cat that likes to move through the thick bush. And she is not known for walking in straight lines. She moves quite erratically. Please talk to us, #WildEarth on Twitter. Questions or comments we'd happily take from you there or on the YouTube chat stream, especially if you're a YouTube member. Tell all your friends to become YouTube members, that would be great. Otherwise the website will work as well. Now, it is my firm belief that this cat is lactating. I've had a good look at her undercarriage, and it looks to me like there is quite a lot of moisture around her milk pouches, and I think that she is lactating. So I think there's a good chance she's given birth. Where, I don't know. Where those cubs would be, I don't know. And she would have ranged quite far over the course of the last little while just to remark her territory, because of how much rain there is. So it doesn't mean that she would be close by at all. She's just eating a little bit of grass there. I have also found with Tlalamba that she's quite reactive to our voices and to too much vehicle movement, and it makes her, I always like to just back off a little bit in the hopes that she will settle, because she's one of the most difficult leopards to follow. Hello Picky, you say you're happy to be on board. Nice to see you. Can't wait to see what Wild Wednesday has waiting for us. Anna Marie, well Anna Marie, you've got this leopard, Tlalamba, and the Talamati breakaways, which have created the bulk of our content on our Monday and Tuesday expeditions. So it's a pretty good start, really, for a Wednesday morning safari live, first live safari of the week. Like I say, our radios are not working, so if your questions are not going through, it's just because it's very tricky for the final control room. Jarrett and Luyanda are directing today. It's very hard to get them to us. He's currently having to dispatch some incredibly fast peregrine falcons with small canisters tied to their feet. What a fantastic start. Well done, guys. Lydia, well, thank you. I'd love to take credit for this, but I'll tell you how we found her as we move. We found her because I was driving gently along the top of these clearings, minding my own business, listening to the squeak of the tyres, and Cameron said to me, there's an Impala alarm calling, and I thought, that's garbage, I'm sure I would have heard that. Turned the car off, and he was absolutely right. We went down the hill, saw 3 Impala, couldn't see what they were looking at, drove down the road, and there was Tlalamba. So this is Cameron's find, not mine. I was just the driver. Please excuse me checking my phone. I'm not checking social media, I'm just checking if there are any questions, such as this comment from Happy Brit. Fingers crossed to hear tiny paws in the bush. Yes, exactly. So what she's doing is like I say, marking her territory post all the moisture. And this is typical Tlalamba. She's turned off the road and is now walking through some pretty thick stuff. But I will try and keep up with her, see where she goes. Let's move it up. It's a fine balance between staying close enough to see where she's going and not irritating her so that she moves too quickly. Is she eating grass because she's sick, Marshall? No, Marshall, she's eating grass because cats and most carnivores need to get some form of roughage into the digestive system, which just helps with their digestion. She's not sick, I don't think. I mean, she might be feeling a little peaky, but she doesn't look peaky. Oh, Jesus. You're right. Right, she's back on the road. Doing a bit of marking. Of course, the trick is to maintain cell phone signal, because if she goes down this hill, we're going to lose all cell phone signal, so we're just going to have to pretend we're live. Vorv's got the lions. I don't think he's got any cell phone signal where he is there. Maybe he does.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior, selected from amazing amateur and professional footage to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive. What?
There's some monkeys shouting at her. That's why her tail's gone up like that. The poor monkey's enjoying the dawn, happy that the sun has come out again, and now they're having to deal with this prime predator walking underneath their tree. Do you think she'll show us her cubs, Michelle? Michelle, I don't know that any leopard makes the conscious decision to show us their cubs. I think we eventually just find them, and hopefully that will be today. But I'm assuming she's got cubs, given her milk pouches and her sort of swollen teats. But they'll be very, very small if she's still got them. And so, the chances of seeing them are equally tiny. They're as tiny as the leopards. Please don't go in there. Please don't go in there. Unless it's to fetch your cubs. Ooh. I don't know what she pounced in there on. She's still moving, huh? Lost her. Right, let's carry on. Excuse me, checking my... Would it be rare to see her moving them by mouth? Yeah, it'd be very rare, Benji. I've never seen a leopard do that. I mean, obviously they do it, but I haven't seen it myself. Oh dear. Oh no. You lose her for 1 second and she's just gone. There she is. Phew. Phew.
Coming out of the dune thicket, and my word, the roads have been eroded. I think eroded is an understatement. There's some actual steps in some places. Excuse me. One of the roads that we came down, you couldn't even see it until the wheels had already gone through, and there was almost like a crater. Anyway, not very many animal tracks around. I've seen a couple of kudu tracks. Nothing too interesting really. Just a lot of debris on the road, of course. And the thing is with sand is once there's water and the water is running, generally the sand gets taken with it. Kelly, I hope the animals aren't shy today either, but it does look like it is starting to clear up, so we're going to cross our fingers. And if it does clear up and the sun comes out, there's no doubt we'll be able to see animals. It's been raining for 3 days. No one's seen the sun. As soon as the sun comes out, everybody's going to be out. It's not a very chilly morning, but there is that chill factor in the air. And I'm sure the sun will actually sort that out for us perfectly. Okay, now we're getting somewhere with some tracks. What are those? Zebra tracks. They're going in the opposite direction. We haven't seen any zebra yet. But I'm pretty excited and pretty interested to see who we're going to spot today. Well, with the elements being the way that they are, obviously we know that some animals don't enjoy the wind, and it is a little bit windy now. So we may find that those animals may stick to the thicket areas. I was saying yesterday that you'll find plains game generally don't care. Unless there's thunder and lightning, they're not really fazed by much of the weather. They chose to, well, not chose, they are plains game because they like to live in areas that are spread out. It comes with pros and cons, and obviously one of the cons is if it rains, you will get wet. If it's windy, you will be hit with the wind. The elements will attack you when you live out in the open, but when you're living in the thicket areas, it's sometimes a little bit better. Not always. Ooh, that's nice. We found ourselves a friend. We'll just get a little bit closer to him before we show him to you. If you can see, he's just there. Is it only you here? I don't see any others. Alright. Have a look at our friend. I think this is a great way to start, actually. What we have here is a male giraffe. And he is feeding on that sweet thorn. Okay, I do see another giraffe. I thought you were all alone here. But that must mean that there must be other animals. Not other animals, must be other giraffe. Here, the whole herd must be here. Unless it's these two males. The other one I can't actually see exactly, but it's quite a fair distance off. Can't identify whether it's a male or female, but this guy is definitely a male. One of, well, three things really that I can tell that will make me think that he is a male is, one, if you look at the ossicones, they're very far, very difficult to tell, but you can see that they're flat. You can see that there's no fluff on top of there, otherwise you would be able to see the little kind of fluffiness. Two, he's very, very dark. That's a very, very dark boy. I think all that testosterone. Yeah, generally the darker the male, well, the darker the giraffe, the older the male is, and sometimes the lighter the female is, the older she is. Now that's not always the case, because I've also seen a couple of dark females. I think it basically all just comes down to the genes and who the mother and the father was. If your father was a very, very dark-skinned male, then I'd imagine that you'd have pretty similar skin, whether you were male or female. The third factor in determining whether a giraffe is male or female is you got to look at the belly. If you can see a belly button, it's not a female, because that's not a belly button either. It's pretty cool. And slightly more windier out in the open here. Now, this is beautiful. He's very relaxed and focused on getting in his meal. I mean, he must be a good 70 to 80 meters from us. We can hear him pulling off the leaves. Oh, here's a big boy. So elegant. To the next tree. You'll find sometimes they won't feed on a specific tree for too long before they end up moving off. So that looks like he was having more of a scratch than a feed. It is possible, you know, with all the parasites that they do have living on their bodies, it does sometimes make it very uncomfortable and very itchy. And obviously they don't have hands and fingers like we do. They've only got these long legs, long neck, so they have to end up rubbing up against something. And you'll sometimes like, look at him, there he goes, he's rubbing his neck there. You'll sometimes find them basically walking over a bush to scratch the underside of their bellies. But with a scratching post, you've got to be very, very careful, especially when walking around them, if you're investigating them, because quite often ticks are knocked off there and other parasites, and they won't hesitate to crawl all over you. Obviously they lost their first meal source, they'll take a second meal source if they can. Ticks obviously being opportunistic. Well, you wouldn't really call them an opportunistic hunter because they're not really a hunter, but an opportunistic parasite that will grab any opportunity to latch onto something that's warm-blooded. Even animals that are cold-blooded, actually. You know, I've seen ticks on tortoises. I've seen ticks on snakes. There was a runkaus. He had about 4 on his head. And then I've seen ticks on lizards before. A monitor lizard, water monitor. I don't think I would have ever been able to have seen something like that, but yeah, we originally thought that they were like growths on the poor animal, but upon closer examining, we saw that they were legs, which definitely means it's not a growth. Sure, yes. Clouds are slowly pulling away, exposing some blue sky. We could be in for something amazing in a minute.
Good morning, everybody. It might feel a little bit like an upside down kind of day. Maybe some ripples in the ether. Welcome to Juma. Welcome to the live game drives here. Hello, everybody. My name is Steve. I'm joined by BK and Camera, and we have been out and about for some time, having tracked down our lions successfully and found them. But here they are chilling very hard at the pan. Telemarty breakaways. Looking like they've digested solidly since last night, and they haven't walked very far. Found them, James found them the day before yesterday, and they were found again yesterday morning and yesterday evening, and they're very close to where they were last night. We found their tracks where they were, and they found tracks of a female leopard. I quickly let James know, and he alternated his movements, and he found the queen. How blessed. Wonderful setting, Lincoln. Wonderful setting. Water is always a good place. Always a good place to check. And when lions have eaten, they're feeling quite content, then we know that just have a look around water points. Might be the most suitable place to find them, and if they're not there, you can keep having a look. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn the radio off. So the Telemati breakaway lioness and the younger lioness were found by James a few mornings ago, and the young boy reunited with them. The two females were looking quite full, quite happy. He was not looking very full, and then something happened last night, and they were balloons yesterday morning, all three of them. It's a nice giraffe interaction with them yesterday morning. It was very half-hearted, though, to be honest. Very half-hearted. The young lioness thought, well, that's a giraffe. I'll catch it, won't I? Eka, they are, aren't they? We've been with them watching the sunrise, and obviously we had them with the sunrise on the one side, but it's become too harsh to be on that side. But unfortunately, we've had some... Everything seems to be sorted again. The most magical sunset yesterday evening and the most magical sunrise this morning after all of this rain. What a treat. Can we go back to that reflection, BK? I still find it so difficult to quite understand how a reflection works. It still boggles the mind a little. I mean, that water, from the angle we're looking at it, the water can't see her. But yet somehow we see her. I don't know, it's bizarre how reflections work. And she can't see that piece of water. It's underneath the lip of the water point, and yet her image is flawless. These optical illusions of sorts are really quite mind-boggling. Her daughter's now giving us the nice bit of shadow. Are you the daughter? I'm not sure anymore. We'll tell in a moment. Yes, it's the daughter. Nice little stretch. Are you going to have a drink, or are you just going to go nuzzle Mum's face? That's going to be a Mum's face nuzzle, and then a plop down there next to her to join the wonderful reflection on the pan this morning.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
dear. You are looking very smart. Now, if you could just take us to see your cubs, that would be great. The radio is obviously going ballistic now because word has got out on the blower that Juma, for once, has got absolutely everything on it. Oliver, you say it's so regal when they cross their paws. Yes, it is quite regal, isn't it? There are a couple of sort of quintessential angles you want if you're taking photographs or videos of leopards. One is obviously the yawn, and if you can get a sideways yawn with a nice blurry background, I always think that's a nice shot. The other is a kind of low angle of them staring straight down the barrel of the lens. That's always something you want. Then there's the old classic in the tree with the sort of head over the front legs, pillow style, or the limbs draping down from a limb of a tree. And then also quite fun to try and get her or something around her framed by the curve of her tail, because it's very striking white fur underneath there. Sorry, I've just got to get on the radio because people can't listen. This animal is now static about 150 meters to the northwest of Chelapan in the block. One station here. Affirmative. One must be clear on the radio, you know? This is wonderful. 2 cat sightings at Juma. Let's go back to the Vov. His lions are doing something.
Well, everybody, I don't really know what to say about the scenes you're witnessing here with us now. Just enjoy. It doesn't get more beautiful than this. We just had the female. Drinking. Gave us some wonderful images there. And BK is outdoing himself. I mean, that's what James often says. It's about being in the right place at the right time. We're given the opportunity. I mean, the light and the water would not quite be the same without the 3 lions somehow just sitting there. And that we did not make happen. They did it all on their own. So, opportunity. The right tools, right place, right time. Sensational. Started with a half-face lioness in the reflection. Rather beautiful. Marky, they are doing well, aren't they? When I first saw them in January, they were not looking good. I was actually quite taken aback when I saw them. BK, should I just go move that little piece of grass there?
Please go.
You can obviously expect everyone at the radio has become incredibly busy this morning. The sun is shining, the weather is sweet. It's a vehicle just leaving. No, we've got 2 vehicles that can come onto the property to join us. One from the east, one from the west. And so there's a bit of pressure on individuals when they do come on, if there are sightings, that, have a look at that they need to make space for each other. And there are 2 sightings on the property. None of them, apart from Rowan, who's just leaving now, realizes how beautiful this one is. When people have been coming on for a few days to view these 3 lionesses, and you know, they've been full, and they've been, these 3 lions, should I say, they've been full and they've been flat, and they've been waiting for the live show to show us their magnificence. Hey, BK? Now BK can attest, because he spent the last 2 days with them, yesterday morning and then the day before with James. It wasn't very exciting. Was it exciting?
No, yesterday.
It wasn't very exciting. Not like this. Goodness gracious. Reggie, well, you see that young lioness there is still quite young, but she's definitely making it. So if another year or so she comes into estrus, her mom come into estrus again, get 3 or 4, maybe 5 cubs, suddenly you've got sex ratio of 50-50 male, 50-50 female. Suddenly you've got another 2 or 3, maybe 4 young lionesses joining the fray. The next 3-4 years, this pride is strong and really, really capable. I mean, one lioness is capable of supporting these 2. The young lioness on the left, when she comes a little bit more experienced, she'll be able to support the pride, and suddenly they just grow in number. And if they are able to successfully breed, well, then that will be a winner for them. So a pride starts with the lioness and a male mating with her. And then slowly over that, they become a pride in the number of 15 to 20 animals. So it always only starts with 1.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
we go. Well, we are still here with our beautiful queen, Tlalamba. She's been biting flies. Just like that. And the sun finally caught her jade-coloured eyes. And they are beautiful jade colour. Getting quite warm and toasty now. I think it'll probably be quite hot today. So special spending this kind of time with her. And if we haven't had a good look at her belly yet, we're still looking carefully, but I'm pretty sure what I saw was the signs of lactation. Yes, Ryan, you say. What a content-looking kitty. Yes, indeed. She's a very content-looking kitty cat. No, she's eventually going to have to move towards her den site. You can hear also the sound of the white-browed scrub robin. Just lovely. Trying to get two other vehicles in here, one of whom is clearly very lost. Go ahead. Yeah, just come west on Pangolin. I mean, unless I'm completely confused about where I am. But I don't think I am. Happy Brit, she would be away from the cubs for at least up to 24 hours, I'd say. What on earth is going on here? You can hear people talking in the bush. And someone's coughing to death. Someone's got pneumonia, consumption. Station on Pangolin track coming. CP station on Pangolin track. Jeepers, these guys have done a loop around this world. You just south of us, just turn off road there, come north. Good grief. That man's done a serious drive around. Thankfully we've been sat here with our cat. Yes, Killian, ideally she will be eating more now that she's given birth, but you know, she'll try and eat more, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to manage. Beautiful. I apologise for my distractedness, everyone. I'm just trying to get some people into the sighting. But we can enjoy the sighting of the leopard regardless. She's up. Life's about to get uncomfortable. This animal is now mobile in a southeasterly direction. She's just gone past there. Sadie, I think that she may well be aware of them, simply because she was quite close to where they were, so she'll certainly have a sense of them, but not very close to them. Last station, go again. Yeah, okay, copy that. Yeah, just keep coming onto Pangolin Track. She's heading towards Chelapan now, through the block. The amount of confusion. It is difficult, you know, you come onto a reserve that you don't normally drive around on, and it becomes very difficult to figure out where on earth you are. There she goes. She might even have a little drink there. Rowan, can you see that dead knobthorn to the north of you?
Yeah, I saw that. I've got to visually.
Copy. Alright, we're going to try and keep up with both the radio and the leopard, and you're going to go back to Steve and see what's happening with his lions.
Thanks, James. Well, good luck with your efforts this morning, and well done for finding and following Tlalamba. Maybe she's going to lead you to her den site, which is probably going to be around the Mawati down towards Mamba, Leadwood area. How exciting. Well, our lions haven't done a lot since you're last with us. They've just been enjoying the sunshine, and I've no doubt that in the next 20 minutes or so, the sun is going to become a bit overwhelming for them, and they're going to decide to move. But it was a little bit of a fresh start this morning after days and days of rain. We only had a bit of a sunset yesterday, no real solar radiation. And without any cloud, there's no blanket to keep the heat in. And this morning had us wearing jackets. And even when we moved to this side of the pan to get another view of them, we were in the shade. We found ourselves a little bit chilly. But now the sun is up and is starting to warm our bones. Because it does. It looks summery after the rain. Doesn't feel it. It's a bit fresh today, but it's lovely to be out and about. And we haven't gone very far. We drove for about 4.5 minutes. Found the tracks, found the lions. It's been a very slow-moving morning this morning, but we'll take it. Come on, Mum, get up and do something, please. I'm getting bored sitting here by the pan. Bailey, no, the one on the left is a boy. He looks like a girl. If you look under his tail, though, the one on the left, their beaks. Look under the tail, and you'll see that he is most certainly not a boy. Oh, a girl. Most certainly not. But he looks like a girl because he doesn't have the size or the mane yet. But he's still a youngster. That'll come with time. And talking about girls, our young girl has now decided to hide in the most amount of cover you could imagine. And amazing. I mean, if she went flat there, you wouldn't see her. I think she likes you. Of course she does. Imagine she just went flat there. Definitely be an oh my word moment. Show us how well you can disappear. Wendell, indeed, look at these top of the food chain poses. They're loving it. They're loving it. Mom's seen it all before, but the youngsters are loving it. And my room is just over there. 80 meters, maybe 60 meters. Not far. The lion's going to come around for a cup of tea after the drive. Sit on the porch and chat about what's going on.
Yeah, last I think we went to Bridgegar side. Near by Jovana. Okay, can you drift in by the when you ask maybe where the lion? Can I drift in by there so when you're down I can go there?
We've got a refreshing splash of entertainment this March. Africam is surfacing with a new show. Join us every morning and submerge yourself in nature's ambience. Watch it live and transport yourself to the finest watering holes across Africa. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
We're going to take a drive along the ridge line there and just have a little gander at what's going on in the basin. We've come across a lot of water holes that are very full, which is making us very, very excited, because it means that the elephants will have plenty of water to drink up on this side of the world. So that may also keep them here a little bit longer. We are unsure as to where they are, so maybe our drive along that little ridge line may enlighten us as to where their whereabouts is. And some other animals as well. It's been quite quiet over the last few days in the animal front. In terms of big animals, we've seen a lot of small antelope and general plains game. But even today, we're struggling with plains game. James, this reminds you of a movie called Land Before Time. Wow, yes. This is definitely, it could be on the front cover. Land Before Time. That's pretty cool. That sounds like a very interesting movie. I think it needs to get a little bit warmer. I think we're also struggling to find our plains game. Plenty of grass, plenty of water for them. So I don't know where they would have disappeared to. I think some of them have disappeared into valleys where there's grassland valleys, and sort of around the outskirts of the thicket. I think the wind may have been a little bit too much last night. I mean, definitely without the sun, without any form of heat to warm the surface of the earth, that wind would have been icy, icy cold. We've got a different bird system calling today. We've got the Bokmakiris, but then there's also the Rufous Neblock that's calling down there, which is pretty cool. It sounds like James has come right again with his beautiful leopardess. So we're going to send you back up to Ujuma to have a look there.
Next place for you so you can come in here while the other guys are still here. So you slowly mobile south. I'll let you know when I'll be off in probably about 5.
Jeez, that's a cock. She's on the tree there. The rufous-napped lark. I like to say the word rufous-napped lark. She's just in here on a little log. She chased a steenbok into this little spot. Naturally, nobody saw anything except bushes rushing, but then figured it out. So she's come in here. Now where's she gone? Oh, she's walking just in front of us. Let me try and get through here, and then we'll get a view of our special kitty. She's going to come out from behind this incredibly scraggly, unattractive and irritatingly sloping red bush willow. Large fruited bush willow, actually. There we go. You got it now.
Is there any dove on Juma? There was some dove there on the Chitwa cut line west of Maribel there. Copy that one, but I'm sure there's some nets. Ah la la.
Lovely. Have you still got her, Cam? Or have you just got green bush? There we go. She's out. Our Lauren were, yes, I suppose, if you insist. It's Whiskers Wednesday. Feline Friday, Cataday, and all the rest. Whiskers Wednesday. Okay, let's carry on. There's only one problem I have with those electric vehicles, which I by and large am a massive fan of, but they make a whining noise if you don't turn them off, and I wonder if turning them on and off isn't perhaps not very good for them. So these guys sometimes leave the car just and it's not moving. I think that's a big consideration if we ever go down the electric route. We're going to walk past the front of this vehicle. Let me get out of the way. Can you see her? She's just behind the vehicle. There she goes. She's currently creating an astonishing amount of data being collected on cell phones, cameras, all manner of device. I can hear some ground hornbills. Yeah, I think best approach is still to come Pangolin track and then head south into the block there. We're quite a long way south in the middle of that block, heading up onto the ridge crest. Animal is now static. Andrew will never get in here. Okay. No, neither at this stage, Mohammed. The cubs would be too small to move from the den site at this stage, I think. I mean, it depends when she gave birth. It's not like we've spent a massive amount of time with her over the last little while. But they will only start accompanying her to kills when they're probably around 3 months old. Until then, she'll, maybe a little bit before that, they'll start eating meat at about 6 weeks. And so she could take them to kills from as early as 6 weeks, but not far from the den. And then slowly she'll start to introduce them to sort of an exclusively meat diet. And by the time they're 3 months old, they're pretty much weaned. Not pretty, I mean, they're well on their way to being weaned. But the big milestone for a leopard cub is that at 6 weeks they can climb. And that means that she can start to move with them much more than she would before that. It's very seldom that any predator like this will take a kill back to the den. And the reason for that is that the den needs to remain completely hidden. And there's nothing that attracts a hyena or a lion more than the stink of carcass. And so she won't take food back to the den. She won't defecate around the den. She'll try and keep it as scent-free as possible. So until those cubs are able to move, they will spend quite a lot of time just in the den and around the den, and then she'll just feed them with milk. It's interesting, you know, I mean, we've seen lots of leopard cubs over the years here, but you've got to go and relearn your cub facts when cubs arrive, and that's because we haven't had them for a long time. It was like she saw something she didn't want to see. And then flushed that steenbok and didn't even bother to go for it. Did you see some impala there? There's an impala ram there. So she's just actually trying to make some space to get around to it. Right, so she's just making her way around, I think, to consider hunting that male impala. So she stuck her head up onto the top of the termite mound, saw the impala, came down immediately, and is now, I think, trying to flank the impala. We're going to have to be quite careful here. We obviously don't want to disturb the hunt. We're sufficiently far away from the impala for us not to do that right now. And then she flushed the steenbok and didn't bother to go for it. I mean, she was almost on top of the steenbok. Now, I'm just warning you that it will not be hard to lose her in this stuff if she's hunting. You see her? Yeah. Nearly ran her over. Sorry, Tlalamba. Apologies. Now, for those of you who've just rejoined us, she has been sort of stalking and hunting through this block. She flushed a steenbok. She saw an impala. I thought she was trying to pull off a flanking maneuver on the impala, but now she's just having a little snooze and a clean. No, I don't think so, Erica. You said does the chances that or the fact that she's so busy hinder her cub's chances of survival? No, I wouldn't say so, no. I don't think she's necessarily busier than other leopardesses. She just walks around a bit more or less on roads and more through blocks and more erratically. I don't think she would spend less time around them, but we haven't spent enough time with her and cubs to understand if that's true or not. Well, I haven't, certainly. Some hornbills who've just seen her. They're not very pleased. They'd rather not have a leopard on their doorstep, I think. Who can blame them? Yeah, Jaden, she would struggle with a big male impala ram, but she could take one. She could kill one. But that's about at the limit of what she could manage. I'm considering moving around her, but I think actually our view here is not bad. I think we'll stay where we are for now. I must confess that what she looked at there was my foot outside the car. I'm a fidgeter, and I was fidgeting. It's Station on Pangolin Track. We've got you audio. Just keep coming along Pangolin Track. You'll see the tracks going south shortly. Picky, you say after the non-live days you appreciate these days even more. Careful, Picky. That's dangerously close to supporting our non-live day policy, which will land you in some very hot social media trouble. Beautiful.
The grass in front of the face is the best part.
If you, I can't see that. Is it just in the wrong place? Right. Okay.
But if you want to come back, maybe I'll put everything with there and then next week.
Lots, Gavin, see? Lots of screenshots, you say. Plenty. Right, she's up. What can she see? What great wonders will she manage to catch? Or will she just slope into the sun and drift through the grass like a small spotted boat? Or just go to sleep. Did you come in from Pangolin or from Weaver's Nest? Did you come in from Weaver's Nest? Okay. We're closer to that than I thought we were. Yeah, this cat has given us the runaround today and disorientated me a few times. If you are somebody who likes to follow where we are and where we see the animals, we're in the block between Elephant Carcass Road and Pangolin Track, in the middle. I need to kill some flies, and that's going to make a noise. So while I do that, you're going to go back to the wolf and see what's happening with his lions.
Thanks, James. Well, my cats have all gone nice and flat. Nice and flat cats. Say again? No. Maybe later. Having a chat with one of the guards there. Come to join us with the lions. We have some baboons shouting behind us. They've probably spotted our flat cats, who I reckon I'm going to give them 5 minutes and they're going to move off into the shade. BK, what do you reckon? 5 minutes? What do you, the viewers back home, say? I mean, you don't really know how hot it's suddenly become. it's not really hot, to be honest with you, but eh? BK says it's baking. but I'm baking. Oh. And they have a body covered in fur, so you can imagine how there's just going to be a moment. It's only going to happen when the two youngsters have moved, and even just that little bit of moist grass is providing a little bit of solace from the sun. But this mama here is exposed in the open. The two lionesses there, the one on the top and the one on the bottom. See, the pride is multiplying as we speak, everybody. Rachel, I don't quite know how to answer that question. No, I don't think so. Most animals are quite hairy. Obviously, they come into maturity at a certain age, as young humans would as well, a certain age when sexual maturity starts to develop, and with that comes pubic hair. Muscular development in boys and breast development in girls as well, but I can't think of any exact sort of similarity in nature. Obviously, size in young male animals starts to play a part. Reproductivity in females, but I can't think of any signs that start to show, especially with regards to something like pubic hair, as your question states. Obviously, the male lions go through development of a mane, which leads to maturity. I suppose that's the closest I could think about it, like humans go through beard development, and it's different for all sorts of humans, the way it develops and the color. It's a sign of age, a sign of maturity. But mane development is most certainly linked to testosterone in the males and aggression. This genetics plays quite a major role as well. Just going to speak on the radio quickly.
Chris, go ahead.
This is my pan, it's saying. This is my pan. Yeah, Chris, it's a Telemati breakaways, one adult and two youngsters lying up here flat. Barely, that looks like the lions are hoping to tan. Indeed. Well, birds also go through breeding plumage, or adult state from a color point of view, Some birds take 7 years, in the case of the bateleur, to develop adult plumage. Some birds, it's only a season. So I suppose that could also be associated with when you talk about the term pubic hair, but that is a complete molting of the feathers. So it's advertising adult status, and then breeding plumage, which comes in the breeding season, is evidence of condition, age and condition. An animal that's not in good condition won't be able to go through the full service of its feathers. But maybe you out there, the viewers, are able to answer that question for me, or assist in answering that question for me. That question was asked, I forget who asked it now, but are there any animals that go through a stage of pubic hair development? Obviously referring to how humans do. Let me know if there's a species out there you're aware of. I'm not. Rachel asked that question. Thank you, Rachel.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior, selected from amazing amateur and professional footage to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
A blessed box alarm call is the same as their way of kind of sorting out irritations in their noses that are caused by what we call a nasal botfly. It sounds like a sneeze. So they try and blow this botfly out because it's irritating, it's in their nasal cavities and wriggling around. But when they are alerting others, especially a whole herd, alerting the herd that there's a predator nearby, or that there's something that they're worried about, or just any form of threat. They make the alarm sound, which sounds like a sneeze. So that one walking away there, who's now facing off to the left, probably will turn around and face us, but he or she was, it looks like a she was barking at us, alerting the others that, look, there's people around. I don't think they're dangerous, but there's people around. Everybody be on your width. You see the head bob. The head bob is the sneezing. Well, not the sneezing, the alarm call. They'll tip their head every time they go. There you go. Now looking at us. Hello. We arrived. We haven't moved. We haven't. What's the word? Progressed. I suppose I could. We haven't progressed forward towards them. Search for... No. It'll eventually come to me. But I don't know why you so upset with us. Did you hear where I'm standing?
2 seconds or so after we are seeing it. But here is the skitty standing on a tree. What a wonderful shot. I actually can't get wide enough with my camera. I may have to take a photograph with my cellular device. You put it on the tweet. Now if you go to sleep there, Tlalamba, that would be wonderful. But you won't. You will continue to make life quite physically taxing for us, but mentally stimulating. That's another award winner I've just got for you there, Cameron. Yeah, after all of those great rain shots I got for you yesterday. And the question, of course, needs to be asked is, if she has a den, where is it? Okay, let's move a bit. Brian, what a gorgeous day. It sure is a gorgeous day. Gorgeous day to be out, especially after the last two, which have been less than gorgeous from the perspective of being outside with a lot of technological equipment. She's directly behind that bunch of thick sticks, moving slowly left. There she goes. See her there?
Yeah.
Let's carry on. This is truly one of the most difficult blocks to drive around in, because there are great of black monkey orange, which is these sort of scraggly bushes in front of us, that make driving not a smooth experience. You would have seen her sitting on the top of the tree there, or standing on the tree, how heavy or floppy of belly she looks. I think that's the best way to put it. She looks floppy of belly in the rear. And that's always an indication that there's milk there. We shall continue following, hoping that she leads us to a little home of Bebe's, a Bebe home. Big stump. Ow, oh dear. I lodged us on a stump. No one wants to be lodged on a stump. Stumps are not a good place to be lodged. Heads. In this area.
This is On Safari. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
To be having these incredible experiences in this wild underwater forest.
It was just one of those things which I don't think I'll ever see again in my life.
Thanks for joining us on our Sunrise Safari.
She's going to drink that pan dry, PK. Okay, now she's going to walk over to the shady spot that I anticipated. Oh, look at her. She's a bit stiff, eh? Shake it out, mama. Is she going to plop her out there? No. She's going to pee half a foot away from her daughter's face. And then she's going to go plop down in the shade. She's looking at it. We do have a vehicle that's just joined us now, so we might get a glimpse of them as she moves to the shade of the weeping wattle tree, and here comes the rest of the family as well. Thirst quenching moments. Where are you going, Mum?
Out of the today, where she already crossed that elephant Hackers Road to south. James is still trying to if maybe get all up.
I'm definitely going to agree to a little bit of respite in the shade. Comes the boy. Be slowly followed by the girl. Aspen, they've chosen such a picturesque spot, haven't they? Now you can probably see why we so regularly check our water points. And as the season wears on, the water points are going to be the points of interest. Understanding an animal's needs, the need to eat, sleep, find shelter, and drink water. So knowledge of where the water is very helpful, but after the rains we've had, there are puddles and pools all over the place, which is going to make the coming weeks quite difficult. Thankfully, after the rain, our territorial animals like Tlalamba feel the need to re-walk and re-scent mark their territory. And James was perfect in his timing to find her that western edge of our open area. I asked James this morning, what are your plans this morning? I really want to find a leopard. And well, James has gone and found a leopard, and it sounds like he's found her once again.
Great. Everybody, we've just come into, well, an area I don't think we can get through. So she's gone across the road and she's going down into this drainage line. This tree is going to hit me in the face. There she is. I just don't know about getting a vehicle through there. Now, is she heading towards the den, or is she just being obstinate in her Tlalamberish way? I mean, we can try and get in there, but hoo-wee. I think we might have to go around a bit. If she moves again, which she is inevitably going to do. Alright, brilliant. Let's go across to Eric and see if we can't get around this thick bush. He's managed to find that magnificent elephant herd at Amakara.
We've come across these two bull elephants. It's Balara and either Kola or Nanzi, one of the two youngins. And they're making their way towards the herd, which is not far from here. And the herd does seem... I don't want to speak too soon, but it does look like they're going to start heading out of the basin, quite possibly. But you never know with elephants, they can change their minds just like that. 1 minute they're going up, next minute they're like, no, we're not actually pretty keen to go up anymore. We can go down into the river line and we can stay there for 2 days and keep people looking for us. And they'll do that. They'll disappear into the river line and stay there for 2 days. Anything is possible with this herd, but it does look like they're starting to head up. They've been down here for, I think, maybe 4 days now. Brian, these two boys have come from an area where there is a fair amount of red soil. Soil that is rich in iron oxide, which means they could have been rolling in it. They could have been spraying themselves with it. Lots of puddles around, so lots of water to spray onto the body and to help regulate temperatures. I mean, even on a day like today, those guys will still get very, very warm. I mean, look how big they are, and they use a lot of energy to move. Sheesh. Polara is actually quite big compared to that little youngster there. But yeah, they're on their march, and I'll give it maybe 10-15 minutes, they'll be with the herd. Yeah, I'll give it about 10-15 minutes. The herd is across the river, or the empty riverbed, and once they get across there, they'll probably be about 200 meters away from the herd. Hannah, yes, indeed. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what I've been looking for. This is amazing. How lucky are we? They haven't even fed off any bushes or anything like that, so they're on a clear mission to reunite. It's also possible they may just go and hang around the outskirts of the herd. I don't know how long they've been separated from the herd, but I also don't know what was the reason for them not being with the herd. Could be some grumpy females in the herd, or could be grumpy bulls inside as well, or could be collie that could have chased them away. Anything is possible. I've got to be very, not careful, but they've got to be very selective about where they choose to cross this river line now, and this is riverbed, because it's got very steep banks. It's the banks going down into the river so steep. There's three crossings. There are 3 crossings that we use for cars that we can't use anymore because they've closed. It's too muddy for us to go down there. We go down into the crossing, we'll get stuck, we'll rip up the road, make it even worse than it already is. Elephants are, I'm pretty sure Collie weighs more than this beautiful landy that we are driving. And they got very big footprints. So, yeah, elephants make just as much mess as we do on the roads. In fact, I actually think they do more damage in some roads, because with their big feet, they make these craters all over the place. Where are you off to now? He's now cutting across the field. Logan, the majority of the time, some of these elephants are pristine. Some of them occasionally look quite scruffy, scruffy things. But majority of the time, they look pretty good. Now he's just doing a bit of digging there. He's obviously smelt a bulb or a tuber that he wants to get at. He may even use his tusk to dig it out, but I think with all this rain that we had, the soil is so soft, he can just push it away with his feet. And it's not the reason why we're not allowed to off-road, but one of the reasons why you probably don't want to off-road is these guys dig holes all over the place with what he's doing, and you drive into that. I mean, it's not doing much damage. It's just it's very uncomfortable. And then on top of that, we've got the termite and the aardvark burrows, springhair burrows, and the aardvark and warthog burrows are something that wheels can get stuck in. Axles can get bogged on, and leaf springs can snap. The reserve has opted to not allow us to off-road. And that's also due to just the recovering areas as well. Like I said not too long ago, Amakala's in a 40 to 50 year cycle in the rewilding of the natural habitat, the natural foliage and thicket. And we drive across this grassland here. It's very, very sensitive, and our tire marks will be left for quite some time. So the reserve has asked it to refrain from off-roading just to prolong the lifetime of the grass, not make extra tracks, the unnecessary roads. Pangolins galore. I'm a big fan of a big cat. I love cheetah, but elephants just take the cake for me as well. They I don't know what it is. Is it their posture, their body language, the way they hold themselves, the way that they think, the way that they implement certain things. It's just, I love it. This man is walking away from the herd. Now, I don't think he's going to the herd, but I think the other younger bull is definitely going. Yo, the wind. Oh my goodness. She's not happy. She's not happy at all. Who was the one that annoyed Mother Nature? You need to apologize to her. She's not happy with us. And I know it wasn't me. Found another bulb to dig out. No? Okay, now he's turned and now he's going back in the direction of which the herd is at. The herd is, they're not very far away from the valley pass, the elephant footpath, as they call it. They're not utilizing it to go up. They probably maybe about a kilometer across from where that little, no, not even 800 meters, 700 meters to 800 meters away from the beginning of that little trail. But they are already higher up. Excuse me. They are already higher up than the beginning of the trail, which means I don't think they're going to come down, walk along the riverside, and then go up. I think what they're going to do is they're going to go straight up, because there's another path that they have there that actually used to be the old N2. There's a road called Eloweni, and Eloweni joins onto Old Bay. Old Bay is one of the longest roads in Amakhala. I don't think it is the longest road, but it's one of them. It's definitely top 3. And that used to be the road that they used to use the ox wagons to get from Grahamstown, which is a little town 55 kilometers east of us, and Port Elizabeth, which is 72 kilometers west of us. And they used to use that road to get from Grahamstown to Port Elizabeth, or now Makanda to Gqeberha, as the new names state. Obviously Makanda being Grahamstown, and Gqeberha, or Gqebs as they call it, Port Elizabeth. Is he drinking water there?
Well, welcome back live with us, everybody. We've moved on from our lions, leaving them sleeping in the shade, and just see if we can cover a little bit of distance in the last hour or so. But following up on sounds of elephants from a while ago. They weren't very happy, didn't seem. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Definitely off to a cracker of a start. Minyami, well, they ate yesterday and the day before. Lions are always available to eat, but it all depends on whether an animal comes out for them to catch. So they're opportunistic. They will definitely spend time and will take the opportunity if an animal does present itself. But lions, as it starts getting warm, they're just going to stay in the shade and they're just basically going to wait till it cools down. But if anything presents itself, most certainly they'll have a go. They'll weigh up the options, of course. Big male giraffe, they might think about it. Big male buffalo, probably also might think about it. Think twice about it, I mean. But it's a nice open clearing around that waterhole. It's not the best place for the ambush. But I reckon they'll be waiting until nightfall and then they'll be moving. Where to? It's anyone's guess. Rachel, it's not that they'll stay away. They'll go into an area that's got a predator smell or maybe a kill. It often make them quite upset. They'll vocalize and then they'll move on. But they won't necessarily stay away. It'll just influence their behavior when they find themselves in that place. For example, we don't know where the Talamati breakaways made their kill. We just found them with full bellies between Mvubu Road and there. And where the elephants were vocalizing, it very likely could have been the site of a kudu or an impala or a nyala or something that the lions killed yesterday morning or the night before. And that could have been the elephants arriving on that scene and just getting upset with the smell of death, the smell of lion. They might move away from it, but they don't avoid those areas, no. They find themselves in amongst it, and then they react. It's always very bright after a few days of rainfall. Or maybe it's because we haven't needed sunglasses for 3-4 days. Now suddenly it's light is very harsh. Thankfully I have a pair. Claire, I wouldn't say I've noticed more bird song. It's pretty normal. Straight after the rain stops, the birds are very vocal, and then every morning, birds are very vocal. Bear in mind, there's a lot of birds that are missing, so we're at the end of the season, so a lot of our migratory birds are leaving. So if anything, there's fewer birds calling now, or making noise now than there would have been a couple of weeks ago. But during the rain, it's normally quite relaxed. The birds are a little bit more quiet. You get a gap in the sunshine or gap in the cloud and the birds are vocal. This morning they would have been very vocal, but it's pretty normal bird song. The dawn chorus. Probably one or two missing after the rainfall. harsh conditions like that, it's not only the herbivore animals that go missing, it's also many of our birds don't survive the wet and rainy, cold conditions. And that is one of the reasons why birds sing and make noises in the morning, is because they are claiming an area that is theirs. And by not calling, an individual that might have been holding a space will be quickly replaced by a floater who's been hanging around waiting to claim a space in the landscape. I think we're going to go west. Let's go west. I was thinking east for a moment, but something is telling me to turn left. Exactly, Damien. Exactly. I've just gone and changed your mindset, haven't I? So essentially, if I look at this dashboard is the suitable habitat that we have for a species of bird. Outside the dashboard is not suitable habitat. So here we've got 1 territory, 2, 3, 4, 5 territories on this dashboard. So there's a mating pair holding each of those. Now, on the outskirts, in the unsuitable territory, we've got floaters that aren't yet dominant, haven't yet claimed territory. They'll be moving in and out, feeding and being very quiet. Moving in, feeding, very quiet. Male and female, just coming of age. Maybe they're a little bit older. They haven't yet claimed territory. These two are calling, those two are calling, those two are calling. Everyone's calling every morning and every evening. Now, suddenly, we have a rain event, and the next day, male in group A doesn't call. Now, all the males around that haven't got an area, we would call them a floater. They immediately move into that area and they start calling, trying to claim the area and try to claim the female, and vice versa. It could also be the female that goes missing and then they try and replace. So that can happen quite quickly, and they can take a period of time. But those floaters are always waiting for that gap and that opportunity to move into suitable habitat where they can claim territory, claim a female, claim a mate, potentially breed. So yes, that calling is going, hey, 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 I'm alive, stay away from my territory and my bride. Sort of something like that. But yes, it does sound beautiful. But as I said, it is in fact death threats and warnings, declarations of war if they do claim or come into my territory. That's different for all species, but that's the general sort of crux of it. Oh, that was a big warthog. Just ran across the road.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior selected from amazing amateur and professional footage to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
WildEarth, connecting with nature.
So we'll sit here for a little while, see if we can't hear some alarm calling. Maybe Tlalamba will come here for a drink. And maybe she won't, but we had a good 2 and a bit hours with her this morning. And that sort of time with a leopard is not to be sneezed at. A gentle breeze strangely blowing in from the southwest. Very unusual. But I don't think we're going to get further bad weather. Look at that, Cameron. The Egyptian goose has climbed out of the water. That was exciting, wasn't it? It was like watching an Olympic swim race. Or as they say in America, a swim meet. I've never understood what that is.
I think it's going to go confront the Lapsmith Blackwing.
Ah, the Lapsmith Blackwing. I think you're probably right. Here it goes. Right, for those of you who just rejoined us, astonishing scenes here at a waterhole known as Twin Dams, where an Egyptian goose is weighing up the attack on a Lapsmith Blackwing. Indeed, James Richard, it has been really lovely to spend some time with Tlalamba. Oh, the action is not exactly playing out with enormous enthusiasm from either party. Jackie Bellows, when will the Egyptian goose's name change? Why? Do you think it should? Have we reached the point that using a term like Egyptian is not sufficiently woke? Or I don't know. Maybe you're being amusing and asking because birds' names change all the time. I think it's okay to say Egyptian these days, in the same way that it's okay to say Irish or Algerian. I think it might be a joke. I agree. Luyanda, who's directing today, reckons that Jackie Bello is making a little grappie, as we say in South Africa. A little joke. But if you're asking seriously, I have no idea. I'm not sure that it will change. Lots and lots of calls of red-faced mouse birds. Miranda, actually we haven't had a bad impala day really. We've spotted a couple of small herds today. Are they hiding because there's so many cats around? No, I don't think so. I think once we got into the thick bush with Tlalamba, we were never going to see much by way of antelope. And those lions have just kind of been lolling about in the same place. So I would, any impala that thought about coming to drink there would have taken one look at them and then absconded quite quickly. Well, probably time to press on, because the adrenaline that is coursing through my body, caused by waiting for the Egyptian ghouls to have a go at the lapsmith blackwing, is too much. For you too, Cameron?
Yeah.
It's just too much. Sugar water, balance things, yeah.
Iconic African mammals live large in humanity's imagination. Across the continent, fascinating mammals have evolved to fill every conceivable niche. Their struggles for survival, natural and anthropogenic, mirror those of wildlife the world over. Because they are so beguiling, Africa's mammals have become ambassadors for the Earth's remaining wilderness.
Welcome back live here, everybody, on the west. Sorry about any technical difficulties there. I'm just going to try to get this arrow-marked babbler for you. Where are you? Oh, he's there. Let's just try and move back, get a little bit more in the space there. How's that? Where are your friends? Where are your friends? I can hear them. You're going to go find your friends? Jack, 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 Jack. It's very quiet now. You're very quiet if you don't have any friends. He's nervous. Okay, he's going to call very soon. Now, it's not common to see a babbler on its own. In little groups, little territorial war parties, you could say. And the calls you hear the babblers making in the green woodhoopus, we call that allomimetic behavior. So we're talking earlier about birds singing to sort of claim territory. Well, the best way I can describe allomimetic behavior is to sort of refer to English football. Many of you might not understand English football, or maybe you could just refer to any team in the world that has a support base, that sells t-shirts, that has songs that they sing. And you can just imagine supporters walking down the road, singing their songs, singing their anthems. And then they come across another team of Tottenham Hotspur fans. They're both the same species, but this team is Arsenal, this team is Tottenham, and they're singing different songs. And the more they are, the louder they are, and the more dominant they would be. The more sound they can make, the stronger they are as a team. So essentially the babblers and the woodhoopus will do that. Lots of them together, and the louder it is, the bigger the territory, and the more secure they can be as a group against other babblers or woodhoopus, depending on which species we talk about. So that allomimetic. Allo is when it's mutual. So if I groomed BK, that'd be called allo grooming. BK, can I groom you? Maybe later. And then allomimetic is the sort of behavior of a group of birds. I'm trying to think of what else does allomimetic behavior. But it's definitely very common in woodhoopers and in babblers, where they are singing their own anthem against others of the same species. Does that make sense? I hope so. No wonder, does that make sense? I think so. If not, let me know. Oh. Dwarf mongoose. I suppose another form of allomimetic behavior to a degree would be lions calling as a pride. A lion call, a group of them, to show their dominance. A group of males calling as well to show how strong they are. And a group of hyena coming together against another group of hyena. It's very much species specific. You know, the babblers and the woodhoopers aren't doing it against other species. They're doing it specifically against other of the same species. And this little guy is frozen. He says, don't even move. Where are my friends? Where's my team to back me up? Am I alone facing this big machine? Where are your friends? Oh, you're a little brave one, aren't you? I was doing some research and reading up on how there was a lady who studied dwarf mongoose on her farm for 7 years, and the impact that they have on rat populations is incredible. When the dwarf mongoose population is low, the rat population goes through the roof. And when dwarf mongoose populations are high, they really do balance the rat population. So crazy to think that an animal that's almost the same size as the dwarf mongoose is hunted by the dwarf mongoose. They're able to follow them down the same holes. They're able to sniff them out. They're able to dig them out. That's quite an interesting observation. Good at controlling the rat population, rodent population. So having raptors and having snakes, having what we call apex predators, also mesopredators, which are these small carnivores, are so important for controlling species like rats and mice and rodents. I mean, you see it around the world. As soon as the apex predator, like birds of prey, large predators like lions or wolves, are removed from the landscape, you get this shift in apex and mesopredators, which can also have then a shift in the prey base underneath, because if there's no apex to balance the meso, then there's no balance between the meso and the prey base. So balance is everything, and we don't think to ourselves the loss of the dwarf mongoose can impact on the rodent population. Obviously owls and birds of prey and snakes play a big part in rodent control, but I would love to find a research paper on the importance of dwarf mongoose and the control of rodents, because like I say, what I read is just an observational study of a lady who observed them for about 7 years on her farm. I'll do some research and find if someone's actually done some science on that. It's all in the balance. Very good. Very good. Luanda's going to check in. He's going to call a friend. Here's the director talking in my ear right now. He's going to phone a friend who did a PhD on meso carnivores in Mozambique. Please do. A friend of mine did his PhD on rodents in the Kruger. That didn't really look at dwarf mongoose. But dwarf mongoose is such a fascinating little species. We've been seeing a few of them around the last few days, but we haven't really managed to capture them. They've just been too shy for us. Just too shy. So the comment was made before, like, where are all the impala? Where are all the impala indeed, everybody? We haven't seen a single impala today. Have we, BK? No, we haven't. But, I mean, we come into Sandy Patch now, the open area, where we would expect to find some impala. But they are probably down on Impala Road because, well, that's where the Impala conference is happening as we speak.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
No, nothing going on here. I think let's carry on, Cameron, as peaceful and pleasant as this dam is. This afternoon we'll come back down here eventually and see if we can't pick up any further signs of Talamba. I think she's going to have gone south of our borders though. Hilda, you say the colours are really popping in Djuma today. Yes, they are. There are two reasons for that. The one reason is that the sun's out, which is really great, and that obviously makes the colours pop a bit more. The other reason is that I think it was last week sometime, maybe about 10 days ago, Gerrit figured out a setting on the camera that made the colours pop much more, and really it does make a big difference. Just a very slight, almost greyish sheen over the picture, and now that's gone. Welcome back to those of you who have just joined us again, rejoined us. We are heading slowly for home. We have not managed to find our leopard again. We had a look at a waterhole. There was literally nothing there. And we're feeling very relaxed and contented with the day on account of the fact that we spent 2 hours and 20 minutes with the leopardess. What a way to spend the day. I'm wondering if we've had any further comment from Jackie Bello around the
So we left our elephants and we made it out of the basin, and we're back now on not soft sand, hard sand, but we're now on sandy tracks as opposed to muddy tracks. And good gracious, that was quite something. And now we are watching the red hartebeest as two males battle it out. Not too serious. More they just testing each other's strength more than actually fighting. Yeah, like I said before, if they were actually fighting, this would look a lot more aggressive than what it is now. But this is just good practice. It is really, really good practice for them. Because here, obviously, you can see the one on the left is the one that's stronger, and he's pushing the obviously less stronger one. Oh, but yeah, this may help that smaller one with skills and figuring out how he could possibly beat somebody that's bigger than him. They look like they're having a lot of fun though, skipping all over the place. And it's typical behavior from males at this time of the year. I wish you could hear the vocalizations, but it's kind of like just little small squeaks, me, 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 that kind of noise. Me. You can see that guy in the middle there. He's got his, well, not in the middle. He had his head at an angle, and he looks like he wants to fight someone else. Now, obviously, that wasn't a dominant bull fighting with another biggish bull. The dominant bull was the first one to run away. He was the first one to disappear. And he's come back now. And I don't know if you see that one that's facing off. He's walking off to the left now. Okay, he's turned his bum towards us. He was the one with his head in a position to still fight, but nobody else wanted to fight with him. Now they all seem to have calmed down and going back to feeding. A very relaxed herd now. It didn't seem very relaxed earlier when we arrived. Very skittish You know, they weren't sort of comfortable with us in their area, and they dashed off, but they didn't go very far before they stopped. Yes, typical behavior from antelope that aren't really sure of their surroundings. They will run to a certain point where they feel, no, this is a safe-ish distance, and then they'll kind of monitor the situation from there. If they feel that they haven't moved further away, then they'll move further. But they'll definitely not stick around in an area where they feel that they are at risk. I don't know what it is, if it was because the basin's sheltered or what it was, but the wind up here compared to the wind that was down there is, it's much, much stronger up here.
Oh, how time flies when you're having fun. WildEarth is turning 17 and we want to make the years count. 17 years of achievements, close encounters, and special memories.
He's got it, and he's straight up a tree.
Come along as we reflect on our top 17 greatest moments. Here's to more years of connecting you to nature. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
Hail to thee, blithe spirit. Bird thou never wert, that from heaven or near it pourest thy full heart in profuse strains of unpremeditated art. Higher still and higher from the earth thou springest, like a cloud of fire. The blue deep thou wingest. And singing still dost soar, and soaring ever singest.
Back with us live, everybody. Again, apologies. Still haven't seen an impala. Pretty sure they are around. Where is anybody's guess? Anybody's guess? Well, it's been a wonderful start back to the live drives this morning. It seems, anyway, from my seat in the house. Annalie, heartwarming sunrise safari. Well, I forgot to mention that it is Whiskers Wednesday. I was trying to rack my brain about what Wednesday was. Whiskers Wednesday, of course. 4 sets of whiskers. That's enough, eh, BK, for Whiskers Wednesday? Those Talamati breakaways are probably going to be there this afternoon, somewhere around. And I'll chat with James about where he reckons the Queen has ended up. She's gone into a very interesting area, but I think I might know where she's going. We will see. Over the coming days, we are looking forward to documenting some wonderful times over the coming weeks, months, and years. Wonderful times with the Queen and the new lineage of Djuma leopards. Very excited to be a part of it. When I started my journey here 6 years ago, Tlalamba was a little cub. So it really is quite special. So everybody, we do thank you for joining us on this Whiskers Wednesday. James will be on safari at 3 o'clock. The live drive will continue straight after that, so do join in. Thank you for your questions and comments. Until then, beautiful Wednesday. Goodbye.